Well, it's called Life, Love and Other Stuff, and it's a simple idea, but kind of a real classy, cool one. It takes the issue of relationships and kind of the whole war of the sexes and stuff, but gives it a nice little twist.
3 females, 2 males sitting around a table having a chat with a few glasses of wine about subject matters that are relevant to relationships or life in general.
It's about the art of conversation.
It's the kind of conversations that actually people have after a meal at home or in the restaurant.
People watching are going to be like, that's rubbish, I don't agree with that, what are you talking about? Or else, you know, God, I totally agree with her, or she annoys me, or he's a bit of a ride, or, you know, and you sort of grow to know the characters a little bit and like them or dislike them in whatever way, shape or form, but yet you're interested in what they have to say.
Joe came out with things that surprised me about his personality. I think when you get that involved in a conversation, and I think what's good about this show is that camera interference stuff's very minimalistic. You surprise yourself in the way you think.
I've been surprised by what, for example, will turn you off in a person, and one person said bad grammar, or bad spelling, things like that. And to be honest, I thought he was right.
I'm probably a lot more radical than I thought I was. You know, I thought I was normal. But then you get into a room full of people and they look at you when you give your opinion. It's like, really? That's how you think?
I'd never met Fran before, and she's a very forthright, wild lady and cool lady, and yeah, she surprised me, but I mean, everybody surprises me. I
would say, I'm all surprised by what people say, particularly Robbie. I think he comes out with things from a totally different angle, and I know him for quite a few years, but I've never seen this side of him.
Whether we're married, whether we're single, whether we're looking for love, whether we found it, I think they're topics that mean things to certain people, and there'll be some topics that some people will get really involved with and interested in. And I love the fact it's men and women, so coming together are the different opinions and views. You're not just listening to a load of women around a table sort of gabbling over a glass of wine with their sort of womany views.
I'm fascinated in how people in romantic relationships can spend, 5 years with they're daily in each other's company and reveling in each other's company, and then they break up and will cross the road to avoid each other forevermore, and that fascinates me.
Yeah, it can get a bit tasty. It can go close to the edge, and I mean can be quite revealing. To be on the show is a bit of a risk, because you do reveal things about your your personal life.
You imagine when people are watching this at home that they won't become passive. They're not going to be passive members of the audience. It will spark conversation with people at home.
This started life on an expat TV channel in Spain called Viva TV. Here's a short clip from an episode shot overlooking the harbour in Denia.
Do you look, when you're fantasising, as a romantic fantasy, or like us guys do, as an erotic fantasy?
Erotic. Oh, sorry.
Come on. The number one fantasy that occurs at the moment for women is having 2 men.
Yes.
And for guys, it's probably the same, or someone you know and having sex with them in your mind, but you know you'll never be able to in reality. So therefore, that is our power trip. That is our way of saying, I've had sex with that woman in my mind, and I know what she can do and how she does it and what happened to her.
Isn't Chase like that all the time? He has them every minute in his mind.
I just like the way you flicked to look at Jodie then when you were in the middle of that monologue. You went like that. I like that.
He knows he's never ever.
Well, no, because you're untouchable.
Yeah, but what about my fantasies?
You can have fantasies.
So if I could have fantasies with you, it wouldn't bother you?
No.
Would it bother
she'll
you?
never know about it.
Bother me what?
If I had a fantasy about you.
I know you have.
Okay.
What makes this different is it's independently made, it's small, yet it's kind of been carried out by a lot of very experienced professional people who've decided this is what they'd like to make.
I think it's a really great programme. If you start watching it, you can't stop. It's addictive. it's something that needs to be done without too much interference.
What I like about independent stuff, regardless whether it's independent movies at Sundance or independent TV shows, that people are shown get up and go. They're, you know, as they'd say in Top Gun, they've been mavericks. They're deciding that, you know, instead of waiting for an opportunity to come to them, or that they're never getting any luck to do anything, that they're going to make their own luck. They're going to, you know, based on their own work ethic, they're going to try and make a show happen and make something happen for themselves. And for all kinds of performers, producers, telly, film, any medium, radio, anything, that's pretty cool.
Moving to Ireland, a pilot was shot in a country house in Selbridge, and although this wasn't for broadcast, it gives a good flavour of the chemistry.
In most long-term relationships, like lifetime marriages type, one or both persons have short affairs. And they can improve the relationship.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because they come back and they move.
With a bit of just to
Come back.
realise.
Where have you been? This is different. Where did you learn that?
Yeah. I don't
Get up here.
I can't breathe.
No,
I can't breathe. What is going on?
Just put the snorkel on.
I feel inadequate, therefore I'm going to get a real set. And people are going to look just because they can't miss them.
Even though you might see a pair of boobs that look obviously fake, you could still like them.
Yeah.
You say,
But don't
they're
you take the
fake,
good out of
but
it?
I like them.
It's not like a penis extension. That's serious. That's really, really
Too
serious
risky.
operation.
With a bit of skill,
You
you
can
can
do
do
a
a
lot
lot
with
with
a
an average penis. Whereas if you just get it extended, but you still don't know what to do with it.
But I gather that body heat doesn't transfer through these, whatever they pack their breasts with. So you get these stone cold breasts to hang on to. And I mean, that would be very...
Escape you from cold tits.
So that'd be very unfortunate. You think, I want to snuggle up there to the warmth, and then you go, they're like rocks and they're freezing. So,
Poor line of vision. Men's line of vision.
But listen, come on. Unless you're really close up, chances are, the person's there for
What I don't understand is, if you study medicine and you could save lives, and you decide, I'll just make boobs.
I'm a believer in serial monogamy. When you're with somebody, you think you're going to be with them forever. And isn't that enough? And then when the relationship ends, don't see it as a failure. Just see it as the end of something. And then move on to something else.
Relationship is not a tattoo.
Main objective.
Exactly. Not a tattoo.
Everyone weighs something up. It's like it's personality versus looks or something. People go, that sort of idea that you met someone, what are they like? Not too hot, she's got loads of dough, and I've got serious bills. And I go, right.
I love you.
I know a couple of people in that position.
In that light, as we tone the light down, she just gets more beautiful.
The show was invited to the Minefield area of Electric Picnic in 2012, and it was the first time it was performed in front of a live audience.
If you had to pick one thing, right? If you had to pick one ingredient that you think would make a relationship, what it would be. Now you have to pick the first thing that comes into your head.
Obedience.
What?
Empathy.
And where do you think sex comes in that then?
One ingredient for me. One ingredient would be olive oil. That's definitely one ingredient.
Are we quantifying a relationship because it lasts? Or are we quantifying the relationship because it was fun for when it was fun?
How long should a relationship last anyway? Should a relationship be for life? Do a lot of more women or young girls want to become Jordan?
I think she's a hero.
Hedy Lamarr?
Do you? Yeah.
Jordan is the only person left with a bit of moral integrity.
Come on now.
The person you're married to, you're just having loads of sex. But then there's this other person that you have a better...
you have a kind of a freedom with, a kind of a reaction.
Because you don't know each other.
But
So
then
you
you're
haven't
not-
learned to hate each other yet.
I really think we're missing something
That's
here.
what marriage-
It depends on the relationship.
Sober
And
or
I think
unsober one night stand?
I don't
Why
know.
should that
I
make a
think that
difference?
matters though. I think that matters because people
I was drunk.
Come on,
I didn't know what I was
it's
doing.
much
It's much easier if you start
Joe,
off
it
with,
doesn't-
look, I was
Joe,
shit-faced.
You're always shit-faced.
It always makes it go easier.
What's that program? how to look 10 years younger or something. They do it for you. And they fix your teeth and they do a facelift. The whole. I saw it. I watched it one day. It was one of the scariest things I've ever seen.
It's fucking
Did you ever see
brilliant.
the bridesmaids? Or the brides?
You probably recorded it, did you?
I'm like, there's hope. I can meet a woman with personality and the rest.
We weren't going to show you this, but here are some of the rehearsals just before a gig with the current lineup.
What's that? You know, when they swap couples,
wife
swapping and all that business.
Swinging.
Or
It's swinging.
swingers.
Yeah. Swingers. And I know a couple which I suppose. Yeah, I do. And you know,
Can I invite
Here
them
are their
round?
numbers. Come dine with me, swing style.
put your car keys in the bowl.
I do think that sex should be slightly
What's
forbidden.
the turn on? Yeah, this
So
is it.
it's forbidden. If it's
Exactly.
forbidden, once it becomes everyone's at it, it'll be no good anymore, would it? You'll have to be.
Think about
Then
you,
people will
sex.
be going, I'm going to do some normal sex tonight. Oh no, we can't do that.
The period between getting to know someone online and how soon you actually physically meet with them. Because I find if you start getting romantically interested with somebody that's chatting to you on Facebook or on Twitter, and you leave it like a month or 2 months before a date or anything, it's amazing how quickly you can get sucked into. Like I've found myself like within a week, we end up chatting to each other 6 hours a night. Yeah, and I mean you cover a lot of ground in
6 hours.
Oh yeah, you go what you want at 8 in the evening thinking, I'll have a few words with it for half an hour, and then next thing you look at your watch, it's 2 in the morning, and you know, a week of that, and you have your first 4 kids now. Like it gets very, very intense. You find yourself telling the other person what you're like.
And your version of what you're like is probably a lot
I
better
mean
than
everybody's version of what they're like is a lot better to what their friends will tell you.
I know.
I quite like the idea of like, say whether it's paint as dirt or oil or coal or some sort of work dirt, right? That person underneath those overalls and that dirt is clean. Their hygiene is good, but yet they have stuff.
They're a bit
Nice bit, maybe a bit
a
of oil.
nice bit of oil, but that sort of work dirt that you can wash off. So no, that
The work dirt you can wash off. I love
As
it.
opposed to ingrained dirt.
Oh yeah, they just
As opposed to
dirt that just made its own way onto the person.
yeah.
After night comes day, got what he wants now. He ran away. You deserve better, you know. Baby, you know. Damn to go with such a shadow. And you went for his car. You'd be better if he didn't call it all. Got knocked down outside his house. Watched Grand Design and not play with his Mickey Mouse. In loneliness lives love. In loneliness lives love.